Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode.
Hello.
So today we're actually doing something fun and we're answering one of the questions left by you guys. So before we dive into the question, go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. We do drop videos like this every single week.
Yeah.
Okay, so question from Jane Doe. It says here, have you ever had a transformative spiritual experience? And if so, can you share it?
Well,
Yeah, transformative,
the
transformative
spiritual experience. We've been to one earlier this year.
Yeah,
Actually. And every time I talk about it, it doesn't feel like it happened just this year. It feels like it happened years ago.
Yeah.
But it was really earlier this year.
Yeah.
And we went to a jungle in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
What it's called?
Iquitos. Yeah, we went to Iquitos, Peru. So it was a 10-day retreat. So 10 days, isolated, no food.
No food. What kind of survival trip?
No, I should say only spiritual, as in vegan food. We're used to vegan diet and but
it felt like it was eating nothing.
It felt like it was a complete different type of meat, because we've had vegan food before, but
yeah,
this food was more so vegan, spiritually light based. A lot of frothy, watery kind of substances.
Yeah.
No contact with each other. We all had our own cabin, little huts that we would go to afterwards. No electricity.
No cell phones.
Yeah, we were literally plugged from unplugged, I should say, from the world.
Real world, and just tossed in the jungle where, no contact for 10 days.
Yeah.
It was rough, I'm not gonna lie. There were many times, I caught myself on how many times I, went for my phone, and realized,
right?
That's right.
No
phones.
Right.
When I'm thinking of something and I want to go tell her because it was a great idea or it was something funny.
Yeah.
And can't talk to her, can't
Nothing.
do it.
Yeah.
So it was very tough in terms of that, especially knowing somebody that I went with, we're close, and it's like, damn, I can't
even talk to her.
I can't even tell her about my experience right now. I'm struggling. Is she struggling?
Yeah, who would have thought communication was, once you take that part away from people, the need to communicate just builds up and becomes stronger, that relationship. Because because we're isolated, so the only people that would come to us are the ones giving us our food. So when it was breakfast time, the Peruvian leader would come in and give us our bowl, and that would be your only form of contact and communication that day.
So that moment, I'd be smiling when they come around.
Right, it was
human interaction,
human contact. Yes, thank you for this food.
Even if it's just to take the food that I won't eat. I didn't eat a couple of those meals. I hope she doesn't feel bad. She's a great lady. She's a great cook, I'm sure. But
yeah, it was very specific.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just about being a vegan. It was just about that, or Light's body that they were trying to, for the ceremonial retreat. So it wasn't just it was
fed us foods that would directly affect us or have the best effect on us with the ceremonial stuff that we were doing.
Yes,
and
the voices of the shamans and so on. So yeah, that isolation was, who would have thought, very transformative once you have that for 10 days.
And it works.
Yeah. Just the revelations you probably would have gone through, sitting down with yourself and realizing this is only you, kind of spirit-wise, in this world, and this whole world is you pushed out because it's the universe,
Yeah, it really forces you to be intimate with yourself and start learning the deepest, darkest things about you. And besides not having the choice to, eventually you start to like it,
Yeah.
You start to like being able to tell the difference, because in our day-to-day lives we hear many voices there's no say as far as which one's the good one, which one's the bad one.
Yeah.
We're probably simultaneously listening to many voices. But with not enough time to think and so many distractions, we often make the wrong choice. Yeah, we'll blame it on the voices in our head. But, you know, being there, being so clear, and where it seems like everything's so obvious because it's clear.
Yes.
You know, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like, how much better it is to make the better decision.
Okay, it really strengthened that aspect of yourself, right? That discernment and knowing that, like, okay, my intuition is like louder now, you know, a little bit clearer. So I definitely would say it was very transformative on that aspect of it.
Absolutely. I mean, we come back. I mean, the diet is hard to adjust overall. Yeah. Since then, we haven't really gone back to eating certain meats at all, really.
Honestly.
But
yeah.
But it's hard to listen to the same old stuff that we used to before we went to the retreat.
Because our frequency kind of like, you know, adapted to the jungle and the way of life there. Because it was not just the food, it was the music.
Yeah.
That was played with us every single at night.
Yeah, it is. The shamanistic sounds. But it was just like, yeah, after that, it's like certain sounds just I'd rather listen to the acoustic version of stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than listen to somebody's words in the music. Now it just sounds like noise to me.
Yeah, and unproductive too, because it's kind of like when you're realizing what's playing off in the background
and how it affects you mentally. You just, when you know more, it's just certain things that seems less important, you know,
like damn,
or less of a necessary,
right? Or you know, at least to my benefit, it's a lot
right.
Lyrics going on here.
Okay, when we look back to the crazy music we were listening to and mixing and matching our behaviors, that's why. But yeah, I mean, I love the difference that it made in me, though. I mean, forces me to look at the world differently. More optimistically, you know, because I was always positive and optimistic, but I feel like this is just in a different way. Like it's more realistic, you know.
Yeah.
Versus the over positive.
Yeah, because that itself is toxicity. Never want to repress that. Yeah, I liked it too. I thought the retreat helped me found or discover pieces of me that I didn't think exist, or even kind of like rediscover parts that you kind of like left in the shadow. You know, you had to bring it to forefront because a lot of it was purging.
Yeah.
The retreats, you know, when people talk about it, you're like, it's a great, you know, plant. It's a great something to try, but it's not just about the drug aspect of it. It's the truth and the healing and the purging that it put us in that environment.
Yeah, it was tough. That's the hardest part of this experience, because then when you come out of it at the end, knowing that you've experienced that and did that, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ooh, now I'm ready to tackle on some real world problems, right?
Because purging
made you feel equipped for whatever now. Like I can handle it, because woof.
Because what we went through, so it does. Like I think in the end, it made me feel a lot, like you said, confident and capable.
Absolutely.
Because it's kind of like if you could look at the mirror of yourself and see all the shadows you've abandoned, or things that you gotta pick up your pieces of yourself, and you look all that.
Yeah.
Just like you're filled with overwhelmingly amount of compassion for yourself.
Absolutely.
Empathy and love, and you're like, I've got this. So,
okay.
Yeah, like it's like, one of these things where when we came back, our friends were just like, you guys are glowing, your energy's different. It's kind of
they
like,
could tell.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't front. Whether we tried to convince you or not that we're different, you could literally see it. Like, so that was, I don't know, it was great. And integration was hard because undergoing, a very intense spiritual experience like that, coming back to the real world to tell people about it, is tough.
It is.
on top of the physical stress that you're going through, because then you're sensitive, and I was very sensitive coming back. My goodness, like the different energies of people really just threw me off. I was sick. I just wanted to throw up, and I just had to lay down. It was just really tough.
It's interesting because it's kind of like when you isolate yourself, spiritually and like frequency wise, everything, right? But when you come back to the world, like when we came back,
you notice the subtle differences.
Yes, it was loud, like energetically, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, all
like
of this
everywhere.
The airport, because I remember feeling that same way too, nauseous and sick. And when we got here, it was kind of like, okay, we're back home, but the integrating to this society again,
talking about things that still everybody finds interesting, because now we have a new line of interest that we want to discuss, but not so able to discuss it because the environment that you came back home to is like, what are you talking about?
So
like what you saw, like in today's world there's no such thing. So where are you? Where are we? And it gets frustrating, trust me. Like,
so it really does. I mean, like, what else would you... because it was a transformative. What was your takeaway, I guess? Like, one thing you took away from that?
One thing I took away from that retreat would be I felt like I was really stepping into my new skin. Everybody has chapters in their life. Like, and if you were to go back in your years, you'll be able to tell an event or one moment where you felt like that change happened. Well, this new persona that I'm building, this new me that I'm supposed to be for the rest of my life, I was stepping into her in that moment.
Oh, that's beautiful. And
that's what I could say the ayahuasca retreat did for me.
Wow. I love that. And it's just like, for me, what I took away from that is just, I know I asked it's just, honestly, my self-expansion. Like, when you always feel like, yes, I've reached a limit, because, I'm always like, okay, reach for this, reach for that. And then you reach for it, you're thinking like, okay, that's it. But it's just like, there's so much more
that it opens up.
Like, the ceiling is kind of like glass, it shatters, and it's kind of like a whole new way of seeing things. So it's definitely my biggest takeaway, and I would definitely recommend it to people. Recommend it, whether or not you probably may not be ready, because it is transformative. If, you go when you're ready for a change in your life, in your environment.
And please do follow the instructions that they give you. Okay. There's like pre-diet and post-diet. Follow those, because you'll get sick if you don't. It's for your benefit. Some people think they can bypass it. You'll either mess up your experience while you're there, or you won't get out of it what you thought you would have.
Okay, so I don't know if any of you guys have gone to an ayahuasca retreat, not just in Peru, but they're all over the world. We would definitely love to hear about your experience, the purging, how you came out of it. Because we came out of it, right?
Okay.
So definitely let us know in the comments. We can also, go into further details of what was required, in future episodes. So definitely let us know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe and like if you have not already. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.